I want you to go. Who wants to do it? Right, Charlie? I want you to go ahead and pull out one card. Or she wants that card. Wait, you can show it to everyone. I can see it. I've seen it. It's okay. I want. What? It's okay if I see it. It's okay if I see it. So what card is it? So she picks out the Ace of Hearts, right? I want you to sign it. Sign it right now.
How many decks do you have? Can I buy a new one?
So now this is unique, right? With the signature, I'll take the pen back. Right, so what I'm going to do first, guys, I'm going to take a card, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bottom of the middle, okay? First thing, what any magician should be able to do is snap, and the card pop right out to the top, right? If I take a card, put it inside the middle, snap my fingers again, no moves, the card pops right up to the top.
Interesting.
Right? Here's a different way to do it. I'm going to take a card, I'm going to go ahead and put it on top, wrap it around a bunch of cards, then enfold that with both cards, just like that, okay? So now, actually, can you try snapping your fingers? Can you what? Snap your fingers. Snap your fingers, it doesn't pop up, right? Can you snap your fingers? Snap your fingers, the card doesn't pop up, right? But for me, if I snap my fingers just like that, the card pops up.
I'll snap my fingers.
That makes sense? So here's a different way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and push your card out. I'm going to put another third of the card back on top. Can you hold out your hand? I'm going to give you about half of that, okay? I'm going to push your card and shuffle it up just like this. I'm going to snap my fingers, and the card's going to pop up to the top.
Okay.
Not this top, but your top. Here's your card on the top. Here, here's a few more. So here's your card, right? This time, I mean, sleight of hand magic, you know, it's all misdirection. It's all showing you things that aren't really there, right?
I don't think don't touch the card. Keep watching.
But this time, I'm going to show you. Here's your card, right? I'm going to let you push it in. I'm going to go ahead and put your card and go ahead and push in your card. Push in your card, right? And then pass it right
Okay.
and pass it right up here. Go ahead, take a look. Is that your card?
Yeah.
Go ahead, show everyone. Is that your signature and everything?
Yeah.
Can I see your card? Right, it is your card. Here, one more time. I'm going to go ahead and put your card inside. Just in the middle, just like that, right? And I showed you before. If I snap my fingers just like that, your card pops up right to the top, right? But this time I want you to hold out your hand. What I'm going to do is I'll put it out. I'm going to put the card to you. I want you to go ahead and see this again one more time. Put your hand right on so I can't get to it, right? I'm going to snap my fingers and this card is going to disappear. And it's going to turn into completely darkness, right? Now, if I reach in your hand and pull out one card with that, and it was your card. But I can be better, okay? So, here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to snap my fingers and all the cards are going to disappear except for your card, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
No, I'm scared.
Ready?
That's
Ready? 3, 2, 1, snap. I just did it. Go ahead. Take a look at your card. Here's your card, and the rest
Wait, why are you holding this? This is fake cards. Where did this come from?
That's what Hey guys, I'm going to be teaching you the ambitious card routine. It's a really popular card routine that I think all sleight of hand card magicians should know. It's pretty basic for the magician to perform, but the reactions and the effects of this trick is pretty priceless. Okay, so I'll go into it. So the basic premise of this trick is that the spectator's card keeps popping up wherever you say it is, whether it's the top of the deck, in your mouth, some other variations in a ring box, anything like that. But yeah, you do this through a series of double lifts most of the times. A lot of misdirection in some of the tricks, and yeah, so let's go into it. So the first part of the trick looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and take your card after they signed it and whatever. Go ahead and put it into the deck just like that, right? And the thing is, as a magician, if I snap my fingers, the card pops right up to the top. You know, in fact, if I take your card, put it in the middle, snap my fingers, the card jumps up to the top. Okay, the way you do this is, that was just one double lift and a move called a Marlowe tilt, okay? So what a Marlowe tilt is it's an effect to make it look like you're putting it into the middle of the deck, putting a chosen card into the middle of the deck, when in reality you're putting it second from the top, okay? And it looks like this. Pretty convincing, as long as you don't flash the sides or anything. And I like to do is, after I push it in, I like to do a little deck flip just like this, maybe a dribble, or even a riffle. Want to catch my break and then flip that card over. Sorry, triple lift. Flip that card over, card up to the top, okay? So the way you do the Marlowe tilt is you catch a pinky break over the top card. Okay, you can do this in a lot of ways. You could, as they're looking at the card, you can riffle and then find little pinky break. The easiest way to do it is push off with your thumb, bring it back, and then you have that pinky break right already, just like that. But the thing is, with the normal pinky break, it only raises one side of the cards, just like that. The other side is, well, you can't really see it, but it's down normally like this against my thumb. And the way you make it look convincing, the Marlowe tilt, is you just let the thumb go. You see how that card popped up, just like that? So now there's a huge gap in the back where you can put in the cards. Make sure afterwards your thumb touches it so that it doesn't look suspicious, like a card floating or whatever. And you want to use your thumb because this card is going to want to kind of misalign and pop up. Just hold it down just like this. Use your pointer finger over here to also hold it down. Everything is holding it down except this pinky and the part of your thumb is holding it up. Okay. So afterwards, you're in this position with the cards in the back. You don't want to flash it to anyone on the side. You want to hold it straight. The way you do this, the best way to visually do it is you take the deck, tilt it down just a little bit. So Marlowe tilt, yeah, makes sense. Take the card, and as you're pushing it in, don't just push it in straight because then it kind of looks like that, suspicious. Push it downwards so it looks like it's going into the deck. And don't do what I just said. Don't like kind of reach in. I guess you could, but be careful with that. Don't go into the deck because that's kind of strange. Like, why would there be a huge gap there? So you hold it down, push your card in, but don't just push it in straight like this. Push it down just a little bit so it looks convincing, like it's going straight into the middle of the deck, right? That's a pretty good optical illusion, but in reality, from my perspective, it looks like this. I'm holding it, going to go ahead and push it down into there. And right now, it's the second card from the top. Don't just drop it like this. They might find out. So what I like to do is I would just like to flip the deck, misalign, maybe dribble the cards. Afterwards, you just do your first double lift. So you snap your fingers, bam, I can make the card pop up to the top. Now, there's a lot of great tutorials on how to do double lift. Personally, I love doing this kind of push-off double lift where it mimics a person pushing off one card from the top, where if they got the card, they would push it off, and then they would flip this card over like that, right? You just kind of mimic that as a magician, and then flip that card over. So the way you do that is you have two cards. You find the pinky break underneath the top two cards. I do a pinky count. I'm still not consistent with that yet, but that's preferably how I like to do it. You do a pinky count behind the two cards, and the way you do that is you just take the cards, flip, or give it a little tilt like this. So now you can just take your pinky and you can riffle down all these cards. You're going to need a lot of practice, a lot of finger strength. So in the beginning, if you want to do that kind of double lift, don't ever not stop practicing your pinky count. Just keep practicing it. Develop that pinky strength. You can go ahead and spread out the cards, and then as you're coming back, just make that break, or you can even riffle down and just catch that break. If not, there are a lot of other double lifts. This push-off double lift is what I used to do. What you do is you take your finger and you just push off the top, and then you feel two cards and you flip it over. But yeah, that's not the point. What you do is you do a double lift. There are a lot of videos out there to learn it. Okay, so you do the double lift. So right now, let's try a triple lift. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it like this. So you have your double lift, right? So now there's two cards just like that. You take the card, flip it over, and now that you think it's a top card, right? You go ahead and take the second card which you lifted and put it into the deck, and now you think it's that card. Push it in, snap your fingers, and boom, they think the card pops up to the top. Well, or so they think. When in reality, you just had two cards on the top, just like this. Took one of the cards, put it into the middle of the deck, push it in, and then the card just stayed there. But it looks like it popped up at the top. So after you do that, then you go to part two. Part two, what you do is as this card is folded up, go ahead and catch a pinky break on the bottom card, just like that. Just pull it down. The easiest method, hold it in mechanics grip, take your pinky, pull it down. Just do it until you have the feel for it. So go ahead. After you have that break, that pinky break, just like this, you go ahead and take the cards in biddle grip. Biddle grip is at least these two fingers going on top of the cards while your thumb goes in the back. I would say put your middle finger on it too, so that's biddle grip, just like this. So when you're doing biddle grip though, is you're going to transfer this pinky break that you had into a thumb break. So now from my perspective, you can't really see it well, but basically there's this gap right here, that thumb break that I was talking about. You have this thumb break now, and what you do is you swivel cut. So the way you swivel cut, for those of you who don't know, just take the cards in the biddle grip and just pull up with your with your pointer finger, pull up, and then just grab those cards with the other hand, right? So now that their card, spectator's cards, is on the top, and what you do is you take the deck and you use that deck to flip over the card. But as you're flipping over the card, remember that thumb break and that random card? Flip over the card and just drop that card right up on top, right? So now there's the ace of diamonds right on top. And the way you do it is you do it fast, right? Or in performance speed, it looks like this. Okay, so here's the card, right? Right? So I'm going to go ahead and flip that card over, right? And now that's the ace of diamonds. But I did that pretty flawlessly, or seamlessly, and that's how you get it really convincing. Or sometimes if they don't misalign like this, before you move your hand away and you show it, go ahead and push the cards together. You don't want it to ever know that they're cards, so you can go ahead and push that card in. And what I like to do now is make a V, so just another swivel cut kind of, except don't take these cards. Make the V cut, take that top card which they think is which the spectator thinks is the card, put it in here, close it up, and then put it in like a basket grip. I don't really know what to call it. So from mechanics grip, balance it all on your fingers, and you go ahead and pull up with your thumb, so now there's another gap, and you just push that card in. So now they think their card is surrounded by cards, by more cards, when their card is actually on the top. Okay, what you do is you can perform it a lot of different ways. You can have, for it to be more engaging, you can have people go like, okay, now I want you to try and snap your fingers. See, it doesn't pop up at the top. I want you to try and snap your fingers. And then it doesn't pop up at the top, right? But when I snap my fingers and then I snap, the card pops right up to the top. And the way you do that is the card is on the top right now. What you do is you do a double lift. You could either do that way I just showed you. I want you to try a double lift, or a snap, or you can just go like, okay, now you see the card isn't on top. Oh wow, that's really Queen of Diamonds. That's okay. Sorry. So now the card isn't on top, nor is it the second card from the top, right? But then if I snap my fingers and the card pops up right to the top. Okay. So it's just a double lift. Uh-oh. Sorry, computer's falling asleep. So you go ahead and do your double lift, whichever preferred method, like that or that. Double lift. Afterwards, hold it in biddle. I found biddle grip is a lot easier than holding it on the side, because this becomes misaligned a lot of times. So hold it in biddle grip. Say, okay, this isn't your card, nor is it the second card. Just push over the card, flip over the card, and then take both cards and flip it over. So what you've done is you've taken these two cards and you sandwich them between the spectator's card. And after you do that, then you're in perfect shape for another double lift. Just for you, just for the magician, you snap your fingers, card pops to the top. Okay, cool. That's the second part of the trick. Third part of the trick, right now you have the double lift. You flip the card over, you push over just the top card, which is not the spectator's card. Your spectator's card is still on top, but they think the spectator thinks this is their card. Push it over, take about 2/3 of the deck, put it right on top, just like that. Take half of that deck, and then just put it in the spectator or someone's hands or whatever, or put it on the ground or something, and just leave it there for now, and go ahead and push that, what they think was that card in, and then go ahead and shuffle it a little bit, right? Snap your fingers, and then say, okay, now the card will pop up to the top. No, not this top of the deck, because this is only half the deck, but your top of the deck, because this is the actual real top of the entire deck, right? And they look at it and they're like, whoa, that's so cool, because the card jumped from this pack, which they thought it was in, into this pack, which you either put down or put into the spectator's hand. And you can sell that a lot of different ways. I like to sell it by saying, let's see, what do I say? So I cut it up, shuffle the cards a bit, and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to snap my fingers. And right now, the card doesn't appear at the top of this, but it's going to appear at the top of your deck, because your deck, the part you're holding, is the actual top of the deck, entire deck. So then they flip over this card, they're like, whoa, this card jumped, right? Okay, so that's the third part of the trick. The fourth part, what you do is once again you catch another pinky break on the very last card, biddle grip, and then you catch that thumb break, right? What you're going to do now is you're going to swivel cut the top, and just like before, except instead of flipping over the card like this, you're going to go ahead, and as you flip it over, don't drop it yet, but go to the back of the card and push this card up. But as you're pushing up, that's when you can't really see it, but basically this is how it looks. You flip a card over, I drop my card right there, and just like that, okay, well, I would have done my bad. So push this card forward, drop that card, and then risk kill, so that they never know that I dropped the card in the bag. So right now, they're like, okay, this, right? And then you push that in, and now they think this top card is the card, when it actually isn't. The card is still second. So once again, this is how you do it. Flip the card over, and then as you're doing it, I like to make a speech about how magicians are tricky and sleight of hand. I've been controlling the cards. I have methods of cheating, blah, 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 blah. So this time I want you to push in the cards, okay? So as I'm saying that, I'm doing this. Remember, I have my thumb break underneath the last card. Drop it, or not yet, okay, sorry. Flip it over, push, drop, right now. So now I drop the card, drop, risk kill. Just do it away from the spectator so they don't see this card that you drop. And then risk kill. Go ahead and push in your card, and you're all set. So then what you do now is you take this card, which you think is their card, do another one of those V's, push it in, close it up, and this time hold it out to the spectator for them to push in. Right? It's best if you hold it lower to their body and closer to them, but don't make it too close because that's weird. But lower and closer is better because it's more chance for you to go ahead and do that infamous card grab, where now it's in my mouth, just like that. And it looks like a really risky move, but it actually isn't if you do this right, have the timing right. As long as you don't have skeptics just staring at your face, most of the times they're going to try and see what you do with your hands. So you go and go like, push this card in. As they're pushing in, you just simply, the card is now on the top of this, lift up your hand, push over the top, bite on the corner, just like that, and now it's there. So performance speed, it looks something like this. So now I have the break. Okay, so this is your card, right? Select the card. I'm going to go ahead and push this card over. See, this is your card, and I've been maybe doing some sleight of hand, so I want you to go ahead and push in the card, right? So as you're pushing in, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle it afterwards. I'm going to snap, and the card's going to pop up to the top, right? Right up here, and it just popped up right here. So it's great misdirection. It depends on how long, like, if they notice it right away, just smile and be like, yeah, I have the cards right here. If they don't notice it right away, you can kind of play with them. So with the card in your mouth, you go ahead and like take the deck back and go ahead and like riffle shuffle it, cut it a few times, and then snap your fingers, and then go like, not this, but up here, and then they look up and they see that it's in your mouth, and that's a powerful move. It's great. And this is the second to last routine of the ambitious card routine. So what I like to do is I like to do an omni deck trick, and this is what an omni deck is. It's a clear plastic card, but it's coated so that it looks like a deck of cards from the sides. This is cool because it lets me create the effect that the entire deck disappeared except for their card. You can buy this on magic stores and blah blah blah, eBay, whatever. It's really great. I would recommend it. I started using this from the end of my ambitious card routine, but I'm going to teach you the classic end routine. So what you do is, after you have the card in the mouth, go ahead and look at these cards, right? You go show the spectators your cards. But as you're doing that, you're going to push over the top card, random card, and using your hip, you go ahead and flip this card over so now it's face up. And now I'm sitting down, so it's kind of awkward, but it's really easy. So here. Your card, right? is like, okay, as you're looking at the card, just go ahead and flip that card over just like that. And I know you can see it in the background, but if you're doing it when you're actually standing up, this is kind of in their face and this is kind of down here. So it's just a really quick movement, push, and then just flip it over and keep that pinky break right there. So what you do is, from now on, after you flip the card over, you don't want to flash the deck until afterward. This is the move. You show this card as you keep covering this flash card or this up card. You don't want to flash. Go ahead and put this spectator's card right on top, just like that. So now you have two cards, but they think it's still one. Yeah, once again, flip the card over, go show, don't flash until you see the card. Once again, nah. So now it's two cards, right? What you're going to do is you're going to hold the back, you're going to hold this front so it doesn't come apart. You're just going to push it up, and then just let it meet a little bit. You don't have to like fold it. Like, you just have to kind of push it up. So now there's a little crinkle to it, right? You see that? So now there's two cards with crinkles in it, but they don't know that. You push it up a little bit, take both cards, careful not to let it separate, put it right on top. What you're going to do is take the bottom half of the deck and go ahead and with your pointer finger pushing down on the top, take only one card. And this is the random card. The spectator's card is right here, right? The Queen of Clubs with the crinkle. But you want to make sure that they don't see that there's a crinkle on this one. So you use that's why you have your pointer finger on the top, just like that. And what you do is after you peel off that one card right there, go ahead and show everyone. Now there's a crinkle, right? So that indicates your card. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the deck right on top, just like this. And after you let go, you want to use your thumb and your middle finger to hold where this crease is right here, right? Still hold it down just like that, right? And what you can do is you can pretend to pull a string or however you want to do it. Just go like, or snap and it pops up. I like to pull a string. I say, okay, watch. Ready? And the card pops up. And I like to do a little up motion because the card right now, when it's bent, it wants to pop up like this. But if you give it a little up motion, it looks like it really popped up. So go ahead and boop, pop up right now. From the side, boop, pop up. And sure enough, it's the Queen of Clubs that popped up. And that's a really cool moment. I remember a lot of this trick is on the performance because the sleight of hand in and of itself is pretty easy. You just have to practice your double lift, practice your showmanship, create a really good story to go along with it. The story has a lot to do with it. You don't want the audience confused. When I started this trick, the audience was really confused. They're like, what the hell is going on? They didn't get the full effect until I kind of messed around with it. And then with the Omnideck routine, full and everything, cleaned up and everything just like that. So yeah, just experiment. There's a lot of variations on the ambitious card routine. There's Tommy Wonder's Ring in the Box. There's the Omnideck version I was talking about, classic variation. There's a ton. So just go ahead and experiment, practice your double lifts, and yeah, this is a great all-around trick to show. Okay, thanks guys.